not perspective.
Come in.
I call to order the school committee meeting of August 31st, 2026. If able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could I ask you for a roll call, please, Ms. Genthner?
Mary Beckwith,
Here.
John Nunes,
Yep.
Chris Oliver,
Here.
Kathleen Amaral,
Here.
Bess Coughlin.
Here.
This meeting is being recorded. It will be rebroadcast on DCTV and may also be streamed on their YouTube channel. We've allowed 10 minutes for public comment from the audience on any topic on this evening's agenda. I want to note that there's nobody in the audience this evening, so we will move to the next item. We'll move to approval of the minutes. I'm looking for a motion to approve the regular session minutes of July 20th, 2026.
So moved. Second.
What do I say? Moved?
Yeah.
Moved by Chris Oliver and seconded by Mr. Nunes.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The vote is 5-0. We'll now move on to new business, starting with School Committee Policies, Section E, Support Services, and Section F, Facilities Development. This is our first reading of this. Do you want to say something about this, Dr. Seymour McGuire?
I would actually turn to Mr. Kiley since he has really led the work here.
Okay, thank you. So you received a packet of information regarding our most recent policy subcommittee review. So the first document in the policy review timeline is the timeline. So the policy subcommittee agreed to this timeline. It would get us through 5 policy sections this year. So that would mean we would be 9 sections complete. Overall, we would only have 3 sections left after this. So we're making really good progress. Our hope is that we would wrap this up at the end of this calendar year so that then we could focus on some other pressing issues like budget and so forth that are going to take up a lot of our time. So we have kind of a compressed timeline there. And I guess I'd open it up to the committee if there were any thoughts or concerns about that timeline.
Questions, discussions?
I just think it's great, and if we can get it wrapped up, I agree with you, Mr. Kiley. Get it wrapped up in December, so we can focus on other things. But it certainly, as you know, always want to make sure we got a lot of the latest policies, as many of the latest policies as we can. And it seems as though the policy subcommittee is working towards that goal. So thank you to the subcommittee.
Sure.
Okay.
And thank you to Mr. Kiley.
You're very welcome. So without any further delay, we'll talk about Section E. So Section E, we made revisions to some policies really just to align to the MASC policy language. So you have a summary of the changes that we made, and that describes each of the changes, as well as you have the draft policy where the change is noted either in red if it's new language, or struck out if it is removed language. So the policies that we simply were just aligning with minor language changes were EB, Safety Program, EBB, First Aid, EC, Building and Grounds Management, ECA, Buildings and Grounds Safety, ECAC, Vandalism, EEA, Student Transportation Services, EEAG, Student Transportation in Private Vehicles, EFC, Universal Free School Meals, and EFD, School Nutrition Program Charge Policy. So before we talk about the other policies that had either, some more substantive changes, Are there any questions, concerns, possible suggestions for changes on any of those policies?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Mr. Kiley is, and again, as I talked to you this afternoon about this, policy EFD, school nutrition program charge policy. The next to last paragraph and the last line in that paragraph, I'm thinking that there's a couple of words, and I'm not the best with the English language, believe me, but, you know, it looks like there's something missing because the sentence as it reads right now says, if parents/guardians have issues with student purchases, they should contact for assistance.
Thank you, Mr. Nunes.
So-
You're correct, and
Good
thank you for
catch.
bringing that to our attention. This is a first read of these policies,
that's-
so we can make a suggested change for the next read and hopefully vote at the next school committee meeting.
That's fine, I'm good with that. That's the only thing I found.
Very good catch.
See, I do read.
The subcommittee missed it.
We missed it.
Are there any other comments or concerns about any of the proposed changes to those policies? Okay.
Nope.
So, one more substantive change was we eliminated policy EBCFA, which is no longer an MASC recommended policy. It is a policy for face coverings. It was very specifically applied related to the COVID era, so we are proposing elimination of that policy. We also proposed two new policies, ECAF, which is security cameras in schools. I'd say that this is the MASC model policy, and it's a very common sense, broad policy that really outlines why we have cameras and what they're used for, but allows us to create the procedures necessary to actually, implement the system. And then EEAA is walkers and riders. So this policy is based on the MASC model, and I think it makes a lot of sense. It technically lists our transportation distances. However, it also allows an exception to be made, which we do make exceptions based on the safety of specific areas. For instance, we currently offer transportation to all elementary students, regardless of the distance from school. We do that as an exception because we are able to. The school committee, supported that quite a number of years ago, and we continue to do that. So these exceptions are allowed in the policy mostly because the lack of sidewalk infrastructure that we have in town, and we also have no crossing guards. So we employ one crossing guard at the middle school, but there are no longer any crossing guards employed by the police department. So, it's precarious, and our buildings are on fairly busy roadways. So, I think I would recommend certainly that we would continue that practice, but it is allowed according to this policy as an exception. Those are the three major changes we made to policies in Section E. Are there any questions about those, thoughts, recommendations?
This looks good.
Looks good.
Okay,
Good job.
thank you. So, Section F. It's a fairly brief section. So there is only one revised policy. It's Policy FA, Facilities Development Goals. And we are using the MASC recommended language for the change on policy FA. Any thoughts,
Any questions?
questions on that?
That's what it is. Yeah. Oh, perfect.
I think we're good on FA.
Okay. And then, so this policy you saw not very long ago, the next policy, which was, taken out of our policy order because of the Department of Ed. So policy JKAA, which is now titled Timeout, Seclusion, and Physical Restraint of Students. So we just revised this policy back in November, but DESE made some changes,
Yes, thank you.
and they're good for that. So those are reflected here, and this is the MASC model language for that section. The difference between this policy and the policies in section E and F are that section E and F are first read. We are recommending, the policy subcommittee is recommending that we vote on policy JKAA tonight to meet the DESE requirement that we have the correct policy in place. So,
Out of school.
so we would recommend that you do so tonight on that policy.
Questions, discussion about JKAA?
It lays it all out there.
Just
What's that?
It lays it all out there.
It does.
It's very step by step
And I
clear.
would just add that Mrs. Denisio and Mrs. Redlawn did a really great job over the summer during our leadership retreats going over this policy in detail so that our school leaders do have a thorough understanding of the policy itself and in actually the enactment of the policy. And they'll be spending time talking to faculty about the policy and its impact on our classrooms, which we don't estimate to have a real impact on what our current practice is.
I'm happy to hear that.
That's good.
Are we ready to vote?
On the one.
The one. JKAA.
Yep.
All in favor?
No,
Whoop, whoop.
need a
A motion.
Make
I
'em-
need a motion. Sorry.
Back the bus up.
That's it. Madam Chair, make a motion that we approve school committee policy JKAA, timeout, seclusion, and fiscal restraint of students as presented.
Second.
So we have a motion by Mr. Nunes, a second by Ms. Amaral. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? So the vote is 5-0.
Beautiful.
Thank you. That was a lot to read. So,
Good job, everybody, on this.
Thank you all.
Seriously.
and just on the other policies, if we can be ready to vote on those next time,
Yep.
that would be great. Okay, we move to superintendent's update. I did on mine.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. So, good evening, everyone. I just am always reminded on a day today is like today that even no matter the role that you have in a school district, it just reminds you how exciting the beginning of a school year can be and is. And so this morning we welcomed our faculty and staff back from convocation. And the moment that people began to walk in to the cafeteria at about 7:30 this morning, there was a real sense of energy, there were connections, there was excitement about the year ahead. And so sometimes you worry that after a summer of sort of leisurely living, that coming back can maybe dampen your spirits a bit, but that's not what we saw today. It was really wonderful to see how colleagues came together, and they were laughing, and there was a sense of renewed purpose. So our theme for convocation this year was You Are the Key. One Friday when I send you my update, I'll actually include the copy of the slide deck that we used.
Great.
And we actually intend to put it up on our website as well. So it's a simple message, but it was definitely an important one because what we really wanted to emphasize with our faculty and staff is just how important they are. And how they and symbolically are the key to something really meaningful for our students and really for our school community in general. And as some of the things we talked about today was a teacher being the key to helping a student discover confidence, a counselor the key to helping a young person feel seen and understood, the custodians, secretaries, paraprofessionals, bus drivers, administrators, coaches, food service professionals, and how each one of them could in fact be the key to providing meaningful support and make a difference in the lives of kids every day. And collectively, we talked about that we were the kind of school community that we want every child to be in, to feel seen, to feel known, challenged, supported, inspired. And I do want to say that that message extends to our school committee as well. Quite a few of you were able to join us, and I did have the opportunity, though, to talk about the school committee as a whole, and the fact that, and I say that, the fact that your leadership, advocacy, your questions, and your commitment to our students, our staff, they are just an important part of what makes this work possible. And we want to begin the year by also having the opportunity to express to you our sincere appreciation for your partnership, because you also hold the key to the success of the Dartmouth Public Schools and the impact that we're able to have on our students. But regardless, we also have to say it's bittersweet, right? Saying goodbye to summer. But today, excitement in the room. Our educators returned ready, energetic. I talked about the energy they had. They were engaged, and then they were genuinely happy to be together again. One thing that I enjoyed so much was this is our third year. If you remember, we introduced the Green Apple Awards. We do one recognition at convocation, and then one we do with the committee later in the school year. And this year we were able to recognize a number of our staff members, and so we had our first person that we called up was Carol Hart, who is the administrative assistant at the Quinn School. And when I tell you the applause and just excitement in the room, I guess I'm going to use the word, I think it was like almost raucous. That's a good word, right? But it was so fun to see the reaction that people had to their colleagues being recognized that way. And then we had Lindsay Vafides, and she was recognized, and again, it was the same energy. And also I would mention Jillian Vandell from Dartmouth Middle School and John Broke from the high school. And so each one of them, when we called their name, because they were surprised by it, they didn't know that they were being recognized. And as a matter of fact, Carol Hart, she didn't want to come today to convocation because she's very busy putting her office back together again. And normally that would have been fine, but when Audra called and said that, I said, she actually has to come. She doesn't have
mandatory.
a choice. And it was really fun, though, to see her reaction, and I would say she was incredibly moved. So it's something that we really enjoy doing and recognizing our staff and our faculty. But now, as we've all been waiting for, the big day is really Wednesday, right, when the students come back. And as I've already said, there's something uniquely hopeful about the beginning of a school year. Certainly convocation, at least like for me, it's exciting. I love this day. I love that opportunity to talk to people. But on Wednesday, our faculty and staff get to experience that with the very students that we serve. So it's a fresh beginning for every student. But today reminded us that while buildings, programs, curriculum, resources, they all matter, but the heart of a school district will always be its people. And so that is what we work to communicate today with our staff, that our people are the key to our success. And what I saw today, I couldn't be more excited about what we will unlock together, because I like those, we're going to unlock together. So we'll have little keychains for you as well. We're giving out one Dartmouth keychains to each of our staff and faculty members, just as a symbolic representation of our commitment and reminding them how important they are to the school district. So it was really fun, and again, I thank the committee members that were able to be there. Mary did a wonderful job representing you. I thank her for coming up to the microphone and welcoming folks back. John, we introduced as 38 years now in the school committee, so as you know, your longest tenured member. And Bess, thank you for coming. And I know that if you could have been there, Chris and Kathleen, you would have been. I understand that there are other commitments that you have to pay attention to. So as far as, I just want to update you on a couple other things around HR. I'm going to take things a little bit out of order. But the HR update, I just want you to know that we are probably, since I've been here, for the number of positions that we've had to fill, we are in probably the strongest position that I've seen or experienced here in Dartmouth. We have filled approximately, because I might be off a person or two, but about 48 positions across licensed staff, ESPs, long-term substitutes, and we're also managing a number of some turnover, mostly from retirements and resignations. Most of our major staffing needs have been addressed. The high school is staffed. We thankfully have our special ed staff in place. We're excited. And again, if you think about the energy today in the room, I mean, when we asked folks to stand in the beginning, if you remember, we asked people to stand numbers of years of service. And then we asked the new people to stand up, and it was really wonderful to see just the sheer number of new folks that we have in the school district. But we're going to continue. We still have a few positions that we have an eye on. At the same time, right now, I know Kate doesn't want me to do this, but I just want to thank Kate Gentner because she is the person behind the scenes who makes sure that all 48 of these people are onboarded and complete their paperwork and make sure that they have their photos. She's actually the photographer for our IDs as well, so many hats. So I thank her for the work that she does, and at the same time she's juggling her regular responsibilities, and I can't give her enough accolades for what she's able to accomplish in really a short amount of time. So we're well positioned. I just wanted to continue to update you on the kindergarten enrollment. So currently we have about, I just wanted to make sure I had the right numbers in front of me. Probably 206 students, between 193 completed registrations and 13 we're still looking to get some paperwork, but we're close. So at the DeMello, we currently have 52 students, and our class size will be about 17. At the Potter School, we have about 58 students, and our class size will be about 19. And at the Quinn School, it's 100 students with about 22 in our regular gen ed class. And I know that math doesn't quite work out, but that's because there's some specialized programming at the Quinn. And I know that we had our eye on watching the Quinn. One of the things that I want you to know is that what we were able to do with, again, the committee's support in providing those additional support positions is at the Quinn School. In the kindergartens, we have full-time ESPs assigned to each one of those kindergarten classes. So they will be well supported, and we'll continue to monitor, but we're feeling very confident about enrollment at the Quinn School right now. As far as updates on, a lot has gone on over the summer. As we know, the summer is actually a really busy time for us, and we put a lot into place. So what I'd like to do this evening is invite members of our central office team to come up and talk about some of the things that they've been working on all summer. Starting with the Office of Learning and Teaching, I'm going to ask that Katie Paveo and Dr. T-Bolt come up and talk about the work that they've been very busy attending to all summer.
like scheduling and grant writing, and we do a lot of work in the summertime with homeschool plans. following up on those plans from the year before and getting a lot from the upcoming year. But we also do a lot of getting ready for, as Dr. Stephen McGuire said, not just our students to come back, but our staff to come back as well. And so in the elementary world, actually, the first thing that Ross and I need to talk about is the fact that we also welcomed a new administrative assistant to the Office of Teaching and Learning. So Karen Scorpio has not left the building. She has moved down the hall. Ross likes to use the word defected to the business office. Dale Borges retired earlier this summer, and Karen has moved over into the payroll office. And so we welcomed Mary Francisco, who might be a name that's familiar to many of you. She's very involved at the PTOs at the various levels when her children came through. And so we spent some time this summer with Karen and Mary trying to integrate her over to our office. And I keep saying the biggest job she'll have is trying to keep Ross and I on the straight and narrow. And so just trying to, get her acclimated to the office and all of the sort of different plates that we spin in our office has taken some time. But my truest welcome to her was when we went to the Quinn School and emptied 5 pallets of instructional materials that we then disseminated across the district. We borrowed the big white van and really gave her a true introduction to Dartmouth Public Schools as we moved materials from the Quinn School to the other 2 elementary schools. And so, I say that sort of jokingly, but getting materials ready to go for our students is certainly a big thing that we work on. The ordering and then the dissemination of those materials to support our high quality instructional materials that we are so grateful to continue to implement with our staff. In the planning we are looking forward, it's such an interesting time because you have to look at the data from the year that you've gotten and then look at sort of what our needs are and get planning for the year ahead. And so we did some review of assessment data as it came in, and we'll continue to do some of that work with our curriculum teams going forward. And then one of the very exciting things for me at the elementary level is I met with Rachel DeZilo this summer, and we will very excitedly be able to implement another round of after-school programming at the elementary school. We are shooting to do 3 sessions this year, which is very exciting. So the first one will kick off in October. We did a lot of sort of pre-planning for that as well. And then really we do a lot of work on the professional learning plan for the year ahead. And so I'm sure Dr. Tebow will talk a little bit about that at the secondary level. At the elementary level, we're going to continue the sort of year 2 of our implementation of CKLA. I met a few times with our Amplify rep, and she is going to be on the ground in Dartmouth for 4 school visits at each elementary school, so 12 days in Dartmouth this year, where she'll continue to support the coaches and the administrators and certainly the teachers directly with the year 2 of the implementation of CKLA. And I'll let you talk about the book study, and that's about it. I spent a lot of time in the curriculum closet at the Quinn School, which if you've ever been up there, you will know that that is also quite the labor of love. So.
You're gonna go into the corner there, so no one can see you. Jeez. All right. So just some things at the secondary level. Katie alluded to the professional learning plan, and so and she also alluded to looking at data. And so at the end of each school year, we do survey our professional staff around the professional learning plan that was implemented in the previous year. And so this year, we're happy to see a noticeable improvement in terms of how educators were feeling about the professional learning opportunities that were provided to them. And we're also going to look to expand that. So part of the, when we surveyed our faculty 2 years in a row, one of the major areas of focus for our faculty is support in getting recertified. So the Department of Education requires very specific numbers of professional development points in certain areas, 2 of them being supporting students with special education, as well as supporting students who are multilingual learners. And so sometimes those can be tricky PDPs to acquire. So this year we're going to offer 3 book studies spread out over the course of the year, 1 in the fall, 1 in the winter, and then 1 in the spring. And they are structured in such a way that educators will be able to get 15 PDPs. We're specifically targeting those 2 areas through our book studies to help with recertification purposes. And so we just shared that news with our educators today. And again, that comes with input from the Professional Development Committee, which has been meeting over the last couple of years. Actually, our first meeting for this year is next Wednesday. So a week from this coming Wednesday. And we'll look forward to really sharing the data from the spring survey with them, and also starting to plan our early release day strands, which start in January each year, which will be here just before we know it. And so we're looking forward to that. Another part of our professional learning plan really is around, as Katie alluded to, partnerships that we have with different organizations and different professional learning providers. So at the secondary level in particular, we partner with the Teaching and Learning Alliance, who last year worked to support our lead teachers and instructional coaches here at the high school. We're looking to continue that work to build on the work that they did last year. Again, that was informed by a survey of our lead teachers at the end of last year, where they really indicated a strong desire to continue that work. We also have significant turnover in our lead teacher team because, for a number of reasons, people moving roles or, taking advantage of opportunities in other districts. So we have 4 new lead teachers at the high school. So it will be good to continue to partner with the Teaching and Learning Alliance to kind of catch lead teachers up to speed, support them as they transition into the new role, etc. The Wade Institute is another group that we partner with. They work with our middle school science teachers in particular. We're in year 2 of implementing the Open SciEd curriculum at the middle school. And so again, through feedback from the teachers who worked with the Wade Institute last year, they found the professional learning sessions very instrumental in their ability to really meet the instructional approach that Open SciEd comes with, particularly taking an inquiry-based approach to science. And so we'll look to continue to partner with the Wade Institute this year. In addition to that, other areas that I focused on this summer, we had summer school here at the high school, serviced approximately 75 students. And again, our preference would be that we don't have any students who need summer school or credit recovery. However, at every high school across the Commonwealth, there are some students who, for a variety of reasons, need that safety net that summer school and credit recovery provides. It's also particularly important at the high school level because fall extracurricular and athletics eligibility is dependent on your final grades. And so summer school and credit recovery provides an important safety net for students for whom athletics and extracurriculars provides that sense of belonging to. And so it's an important safety net, and we appreciate our teachers, Mrs. Grieve, Mr. Mayall, Mrs. DeMello, Mrs. Thibodeau, and Ms. Whalen, who worked summer school at the high school level this past year. In addition to that, we work closely with Dr. Saber McGuire to plan our leadership retreats, which take place in late July and early August. And so we planned a 2-day district leadership team retreat, which was hosted at UMass Dartmouth, around a variety of topics related to leadership. In addition to that, we had a 1-day principals retreat as well. I think for this coming year, at the secondary level, well, actually pre-K through 12, really, we're excited to, and we've been planning for a curriculum review, which I think we referenced here at the school committee meeting in the springtime, but we're looking to really start that work around our mathematics curriculum pre-K through 12 in alignment with our district strategic plan so that we can have vertical and horizontal alignment in our mathematics area. Oh, and then the other pieces we also planned and delivered our new educator orientation, which was a 2-day orientation program for 25, I think was the final number, 25 new teachers. So I know Dr. Saber McGuire talked about 40-something for in terms of teachers or professional educators. It was 25 was the number we worked with over 2 days, which was positive energy and really rewarding to help welcome them into here. Yes. Oh, and yes, they'll be here to meet you all on September 14th. So we look forward to that. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and now, I'm going to invite from the Office of Student Support Services, Laurie Denisio and Kim Redlawn, please. Thank you.
So the Office of Student Services is in the unique position of building, staffing, transporting, and running a school over the summer, also known as extended school year. That work is largely coordinated by Kim and one of the admin assistants in our office, Jess Scammels. We also have 2 staff members who are here on a daily basis to sort of run that. So that was a very well-run program. They changed the structure of it a little bit this year, which I think worked out pretty well, according to some feedback. So just really meeting kids where they are and giving them what they need, and not more than they need and not less. So that takes up a big part of our summer. So while that's happening, we're also interviewing. We had a lot of staffing changes this school year. Education support personnel, the registered behavior techs. We hired a community coach for Atlas, and the search for a school psychologist, which proved to be very, very, very difficult, and sort of still in the works. With the changes of the timeout and the seclusion regulations, we prepared presentations for our district admin, as Dr. Sabre McGuire said, but we also had to look at our own practices, our de-escalation and restraint procedures that we're using in the district. So we made a switch there. We're switching programs to a program called Safety Care. So along with that switch came a lot of logistics, a lot of planning, a lot of who needs what, where, when, and how. So we took time to do that this summer and make sure that everyone will be up to speed with the training around that. And then we took time to really look at, or made a plan to look at our curriculum over the course of this school year. So what are we using for specialized curriculum? Who has been trained? Who needs to be trained? And when are we accomplishing this? So just really making a plan and laying things out. And probably we spent the most summer just making sure that kids across the district have the supports and services they need. We had 27 students transfer into the district with IEPs, and that's across 6 buildings. So just really looking at caseloads and the supports in place in schools and making sure that we have what we need. So that's how we spent our summer vacation.
And now I am going to invite from the Office of Technology, Jonathan Galashaw. I see he's making his way back here to give you an update about the work that was happening in his office all summer.
I'm doing double duty tonight, filling in for Mr. Parati, who has left the control room to attend his son's open house for kindergarten at DeMello. But true to form, his dedication, he is watching the production, Mr. Parati, on his phone right now. He said it looks good. So to give you an update about technology, we did upgrades to the servers that support. It's one of the busiest time of year in the summertime for technology, because it's great. When people leave, we get the opportunity to tear things apart and fix them and update them and upgrade them. And one of the things was the servers, the Budget Sense server and some other servers doing updates, upgrades, and so on to RAM and storage. We also did some network components throughout the high school and middle school and throughout actually all the district. We did Pam King and John Kelly did kind of a refit of about 4,500 computers. So what they do is the Chromebooks, they take them apart, they update them, they power wash them, they clean them, and then put them back in the carts, as well as all the teacher computers that get updates and the Chromebooks and stuff. So there's a lot of work. And we also usher in the new Chromebooks for the 6th grade, which will get a new set of Chromebooks for their time at the middle school, and the 9th graders who will have a new Chromebook for their time at the high school. So that's where we start. We replenish to that level. we're breaking in a new data person. We were very fortunate to get Kathy Banville to take over the job Aspen and state reporting, a very intricate and detailed process. It was kind of baptism by fire, but she did it swimmingly, and it will prepare her for the civil rights data collection that comes up in December. Cha-ching, and all the things happen. So she really got a crash course, but she was amazing. She weathered it very well. As we mentioned in the last meeting, we lost one of our instructional tech people from the high school. Jessica Brittingham became the technology director for the Easton Public Schools, and the job was filled. We did interviews, had great applicants, and we filled the job from a former instructional tech person here in Dartmouth, Josh Rodricks. Josh was an instructional tech person at DeMello before he was drafted by the Florida Marlins. And then he was traded to the Baltimore Orioles. And I'm not kidding. It's actually happening. It's amazing, yeah. So he was the instructional technology for those organizations. So after heavy negotiation, we brought him back to Dartmouth. So I had to pry him from the Baltimore Orioles. So maybe that's not exactly true, that last part, but Josh applied, and he's with us now. He's a Dartmouth High graduate and a resident of Dartmouth. So great guy. So I'm looking forward to high school, enjoying him for his tenure. And that's what we did in technology over the summer. Okay, thank you for having me. The new cameras, yeah. We added some cameras in here, so it makes it real easy to set up for school committee and break down. We could use it for other purposes too. There's a lot of presentations that go in here with the kids, so we can film those. So those are great. 2 here, 1 there, 1 over there, and other upgrades too. But that's what we did. Thank you.
Alishaw also served as the resident stand-up comic this morning when introducing us during convocation. So he definitely has a second career ahead of him at some point. So I'm actually going to turn it back over to Jim because, as you know, there is a lot that goes on with budget and capital improvement in the summer.
Yeah.
Definitely a time where things heat up rather than slow down.
Yep. Thank you, Dr. Sid McGuire. So I'll start with the finance side. So we closed out our fiscal year 26 earlier this month with $10.37 left. So spent just about all of it.
Get that back in free cash for something in
we're
October.
counting on that.
Okay.
Right. Maybe a box of pencils or something.
Probably.
Maybe a couple. We're working on our DESE end-of-year report, and as we do that, we'll prepare a final report of fiscal year 26 for the committee at a future school committee meeting. We have, on the finance side, we also have a budget advisory group meeting scheduled. So you're represented by 2 very dedicated members of this committee and that budget advisory group. And the only item on the agenda is to review an efficiency request for proposals, which is interesting because I haven't seen any request for proposals or anything, and don't really know what that entails. So. So I guess that'll be an interesting meeting. That is on September 9th. In terms of facilities, it's been very busy, like all summers are, but the late start with all the snow days definitely made it a little bit more challenging. Lots of projects happening in the schools throughout the summer, and then all the routine maintenance and cleaning that's done. I just... As we know, we can't do that without John Bernat, the facilities manager, the facilities team, our painting crew, which is made up of teachers in the district, for all their hard work, and all the custodial teams in the buildings that help us get to where we are today, which is just about ready. Not quite. We've got a full day tomorrow, but a full day tomorrow. But we'll be ready to welcome students back on Wednesday. It's been a good summer for sure. In that process, we've been working with the Mass School Building Authority consultants in the schematic design phase for the high school roof. So we hope to have our timeline is to have a schematic design completed in November. which would then be submitted to the MSBA. That schematic design would give us an idea of the scope and potential cost of a project. And then once that gets submitted in November to MSBA, they will consider it further as to, you know, are they ready to partner with us to move forward on you know, on a project. So we'll have some work to do along those lines as we're developing the scope. We want to make sure that the school committee is aware of what we're proposing. For instance, one thing that we're talking about is the different types of roofing available. We want to put, it's our newest building. We want to put a very high quality, long lasting roof on this building. We want to do it right. We don't want to be here 20 years from now replacing the roof again,
Thank
right?
you.
So, you know, if we can put a 35, 40-year roof on this building, I think that's the right thing to do, and that's what we're targeting. But I'll keep you updated as the project goes, because there's a lot to it. There's a lot of HVAC components that have to be replaced as part of this project because they're up on the roof, and they've got to be moved off the roof to replace the roof. So, and they're 25 years old and deteriorated. So there's a lot to it, but we're working with the consultants. We've got a good group of experienced consultants that have worked on quite a few MSBA projects. So we're making good progress on that.
Mr. Kiley?
Yes.
What would be the target date to begin the work? You know, obviously there's a number of different steps with
Yeah.
Coming up with a funding source and all that good stuff, but ultimately, what are we realistically looking at?
Okay, so timeline would roughly be as follows. We'd submit in November. We would not hear back from MSBA until February. If we're good to go and they offer us a project funding agreement, we'll have to approve that and agree to it. We would need to go in April for a debt exclusion vote at the annual election. We then would need to go to town meeting in June for approval.
The bonding?
Yeah. Then we would not do construction until then. Once we got that, they have to design the roof.
Right.
This is schematic design.
Right, exactly.
This is the big picture, what we're going to do. Then it's all the detailed design, which on a roof like this, especially if we're including a significant HVAC component, which we will be, is a lengthy process. All that will get put together and we'll hopefully bid it out sometime by February of 2028,
Yep.
in which we would construct over that summer. We have worked with the high school administration on timeline of when we could start, and we wouldn't start anything while MCAS and AP testing, you know, are going on. So once those are done in May, we would then probably be able to start construction. So we'd start right at the beginning of June, do June, July, August, get most of the roof done by then. It's an ambitious project here, though, to do that.
Yeah, I drive by, and I'm sure many of us do, Hayden McFadden
Yeah.
on 195 in New Bedford.
Yeah.
They just redid their roof this summer, and there's still quite a bit of work that needs to be done. The membrane's down.
Yeah.
However, there's a lot of finish work.
I've been watching that, and that's a big building. It's not anywhere near as big as this building,
Right.
And I don't know that they have the level of HVAC work that we're going to have. So I don't think they do. So it's going to be quite a project. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for your timeline.
So the other good news is that, as you know, because I emailed you, but from a public perspective, we'll announce that we've been contacted by the MSBA, letting us know that they will be conducting a senior study review on replacement of the Dartmouth Middle School building. So they're going to be in Dartmouth tomorrow, and we're going to meet with them. So we'll find out more about where they are in their process. This is we're apparently one of 34 statements of interest that they've decided to do a senior study on. I found a little more information about that. So if we're one of 34, I'm not sure where that puts us. I don't know how many of these projects they could actually, undertake in a year. A few, I guess. But I'm anxious to, to have them down and excited about it, to, show them where we are. And I think it reflects well on us that we haven't done a major project with MSBA yet. So I would imagine that MSBA, this is a pretty major project, the roof here, but a real, major school project. And the fact that the community has done a lot of long-term planning. We've been involved in those committees and has sort of put the structure in place. This isn't going to be a surprise to the community. So we'll see what happens. But we'll talk to them tomorrow and take them on a good tour of the middle school. And we'll go from there, and we'll keep you posted on what they tell us. The other thing that we have in terms of facilities is the Capital Improvement Planning Committee will be meeting September 9th. We just received word that they'll be meeting to discuss their plan for the October town meeting. So they're going to consider, so we have a number of remaining capital improvement requests from the capital improvement plan that you've approved, which is the fiscal year 27 to 36 10-year plan. So I am preparing an update for them, just where we are with those projects. For instance, the high school roof is on that plan. We will not need approval in October. We can't do it because we won't even know what MSBA wants from us. So that will be considered, at the following town meeting. So I'll be giving them an update, and we'll share that with you as to, what our requests are. But they are the remaining fiscal year 27 requests. And hopefully, we get funded for some of the projects for the October 20th town meeting. And then the only other thing that I've been working on is transportation. And I would just say that, it's always important to remind the community to drive safely. We're going to have kids out at bus stops on Wednesday morning, early, 6:30 in the morning. There's going to be kids out there. And just, please, people be patient with the buses and with kids at the bus stops. And we'll make sure we get them to school and get them home safely. So.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yep. Mr. Nunes?
Thank you. Quick question. Mr. Kiley's talking about CIP items and things of that nature. You had talked back in the spring, late spring type of deal, that Senator Montigny was working and getting us money for a school bus. Yeah. And I noticed our wonderful buses parked down in the back parking lot by the tennis courts, which I guess means it's just there for show. Yeah, type of deal.
It starts but doesn't run. It's not road
safe,
worthy at the moment.
But
so
I guess where do we stand? Have you heard anything where we stand in this process?
Yes, Mr. Nunes. So we have heard. So we were grateful that Senator Montigny included that as an earmark in the supplemental budget, and even more grateful that the legislature approved it and the governor signed it. So we know it's coming. So what Senator Montigny's office has recently told us is that they're going to give the money to the Department of Ed, and the Department of Ed is going to create a grant system by which we're going to apply for it and then get it. And guess what? We've heard nothing yet about when that's going to be in place. And we don't have a bus that works. So we've been very fortunate. Tremblay's bus has been very gracious to allow us to use one of their buses. So our driver who drives for us actually signed on to be employed by Tremblay's in order to, work together in this process. So it's fully insured and everything, and but we use it every day during the school year. So, but they've been great, and they're committed to, where once we order the bus, it's going to take about 3 months to get the bus. So when we put an order in, we will just be in a queue. There won't be a bus sitting around. It won't even be built yet. And it'll just be in, not in production for a couple of months. And then they'll produce the bus for us. So we're a ways off from actually getting the bus. But Tremblay's has been great with that, so we're making it work in the meantime. And I'm prepared to buy a bus. I've met with bus vendors, researched it all. there is a state bid contract for school buses, which is pretty favorable pricing. Last time I did it, I actually wrote a bid and bid it out. But I don't really see the need to do that right now, and I'm ready to order it as soon as I feel like I don't want to get the bus and then not have the money to pay for it. So,
Agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so I just have a couple other things under family and community engagement. Even though it's the summer, the schools have certainly worked toward inviting families in, whether it's families that are new to their particular school, by hosting opportunities to tour the building. And also they do, I mean, there are things happening all of the time. I'm sure you are, that you're able to see some of those in some of the Parent Square messages that you have opportunity to look at. But the middle, high school have also been hosting opportunities for students and families, whether it's through orientation, school tours, etc. The schools are not closed in the summer. They're open to the public, and I know I'm really pleased that our principals take advantage of inviting people in where and when they can. I'd also just mention to you that when you talk about family and community engagement, that happens in all different ways. So, for instance, this morning, DCTV was at our convocation. They helped set up our sound system. They made sure that we have everything that we need to be able to have a successful opening to our school year. And we can't thank them enough for doing things like that. Like, it just seems like no matter what the call, they're just willing to show up and to help highlight the work that's happening in our schools. And again, this morning, they were instrumental. Additionally, I would just like to take a minute to thank Dartmouth Week, because if you've read the last few publications, you've seen that they've highlighted some of what's happening in our schools. They interviewed Mark Hayes, our new principal over at the middle school. They interviewed Ryan and his team here at the high school, and our elementary principals. And so what that allows really is for us to be able to communicate our story to the greater public. And I think about some of what you all at different times have said to us about how can we take more advantage of Dartmouth Week, and they do an excellent job, I have to say. They are very involved in covering what goes on in our schools, but you know, we will look for an opportunity to see if we can be more intentional on our part about some of the things that we'd like them to see. But overall, I think our school leaders do an excellent job reaching out to Dartmouth Week when they have something that they would like covered, and that Dartmouth Week is truly responsive to those kind of requests, and we appreciate that. I would also just mention, and I didn't about convocation, but I think I'll just back up for a minute. So, and it's one of the reasons I want you to have a copy of the presentation so that you can go in and look at the videos that we have of our kids talking. And so I think one of the most, and I don't know why I didn't mention it because it was probably one of the most powerful parts of the convocation, but were the kids talking to the teachers about the influence that teachers have on them every day. And it was something that I think was impactful for all of us to hear directly from the kids. We did that last spring because we actually kind of had an idea of what we were going to do for convocation this year. And again, Rob Parati and his team and DCTV making sure that we were able to have that happen this morning was important. And then under safe and supportive schools, I mean, I can tell, and you just heard Mr. Kiley talk about capital improvements, but the link to capital improvements and safety cannot be understated, right? So as we're working toward improving the facilities of our buildings, that in turn is providing a safe environment for our students. And even when I think about, we were talking earlier about transportation, that's a clear example of how the committee influences safe and supportive schools when you develop and vote and support policies that in turn are leading to our students being safe, whether it's, as Mr. Kiley talked about, I think one of the the most important things he talked about with transportation today and the committee supports is that we don't have great infrastructure for our kids to be able to walk to school. And so we do offer extended bus transportation opportunities, and in some communities you might not see that, but here you see that Dartmouth and the school committee here supports that. So I want to thank you for that, and I mean, it's less public facing, but it's important when you look at the policies that you approve to see the connections between the decisions that you make and the way that schools then operationalize those policies. And so that's it. We're looking forward to a great year. Looking forward to reporting out to you on Friday, and looking forward to seeing kids in classrooms, and that's what we'll be talking to you about next time we see you. So thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Dr. Saban McGuire?
Mr. Nunes.
Mr. Nunes?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just on a personal note, to the superintendent and Mr. Kiley, great job today with the convocation. The presentation was excellent. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The way it flowed was wonderful. Type of deal. You're right. You talk about the energy in the room and that, and I met a couple of teachers, a couple of the new teachers and that, and they happened to be with their mentors type, and they just had, smiles from ear to ear type of deal. Very much excited to be here and ready to get going. So, and
Thank you.
and such. So it just flowed very well.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Okay, I'll move to the report of the chair. I just want to thank everybody for participating in our annual workshop last week. I think it was pretty productive. And to thank Ms. Genthner for making the arrangements, and to food service for the refreshments, which was great. So one item from that workshop that our mask representative suggested we add to a future agenda for a school committee meeting is for us to review our norms. Would it be okay to add that to our next meeting agenda?
That's a good idea.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Great idea.
Anything else that anybody wants to add or think we should follow up with from that workshop? Good. Okay. I also wanted to mention the PROTECT Act. We all got an email from MASC with the DESE guidance as well as the MASC model policy. And I know the next steps are for Dr. Saban McGuire and Mr. Kiley to draft a policy for us, which we will need to approve relatively quickly. So are there any questions about that?
Not yet.
It's in our email, and it's the DESE guidance is quite
Yeah.
lengthy.
Nothing
So.
like waiting till the last minute.
Right.
Jesse.
No,
Right.
God bless
Right.
the Commonwealth.
And so it's not going to be in place for tomorrow,
No.
and we will move as quickly as we can on it. Well, as soon as we have something to review, we will do it. And the last thing on my report is the superintendent evaluation. We all have the evidence of progress towards last year's goals. And I think most of us have met with Dr. Saban McGuire. And we also have that evaluation form that we've used every year. So, and what we're evaluating is in red on that form. Am I correct about that?
That is correct. Thank
Okay.
you.
And the superintendent is going to give us her next year goals as well, but we're not evaluating those, obviously. So our next step is to develop a timeline to provide our input into the evaluation, and I just wanted to bring up the The subcommittee drafts the evaluation the last 2 years, and it may be more, but I only go back 2 years. That's been Ms. Amaral and Mr. Nunes to write the evaluation. Do we want to make a change to that? Do they want to change? They want others involved to do that?
I'm good.
We're good.
good?
I mean, I'm
You're
I'm
good?
happy to continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a good system going.
Great.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
I looked at my computer geek.
Okay, great, great. Well, you do a great job. Not saying that. It just I know sometimes it's a difficult thing to kind of coordinate all that information. So, do we have a timeline for when you would like our responses back to you?
All right. So
Well, when did we present last time?
we presented in, if my memory's any good, we presented in November last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we had to get our information to you all by, it was like October 12th or something.
Yeah.
Or it was right around that time.
Somewhere in that vicinity, because okay, help me. Boom, boom. Because we have one meeting in September, or do we have two? 14th and 28th?
Yeah.
Okay.
14. Oh, I don't have the 28th.
I don't have
the 5th.
28th.
I just have.
I've got
We
the
have the
4th.
14th and October 5th.
Oh, okay. No. That's what I'm trying to. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. October 5th.
And then our meeting after October 5th is
Is
26th.
If we presented in November, let's say we present on the 16th. We can backtrack it from there. Yeah, I'm open that we could.
What are we meeting in November 9th? Nope.
You want 3 weeks to get it together?
Yeah, what do you think? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
just.
John, we're meeting November 16th.
at least a couple
Okay.
weeks for folks
Yeah,
to
so
kind of
if-
review and
Yeah, if I don't know.
or we could present sooner too. I mean,
Well, if we get everything, I don't know. Can we see how we look? Let everybody take a look at their calendars, and then we can really hash this out at
yeah, then
The next meeting.
yeah,
the
that's
next
a good
meeting.
idea.
Okay.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
That way, instead of everybody trying to.
Yeah, that makes sense. We can come prepared with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got the
Okay.
So with the 16th of November, and the only reason I'm asking is I don't have these dates on my calendar yet, so I apologize.
That's fine, John. Okay, so we'll put it on the agenda
Mm-hmm. Good idea.
next time. Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, 'cause we got a holiday in there too in
Oh,
October.
you got-
Yeah.
Labor Day, Columbus Day. You've got
Yeah.
town meeting,
Oh yeah, that too.
that type of deal.
On the
So-
15th.
And the last thing I had on my my report was that the mask conference sessions have been released. We have them in an email with a link to them in an email. So if you want to review the sessions for the mask conference, those are available.
Okay. Beautiful.
And that's all I had. What else does anybody else have?
I have nothing.
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 All
Just
right.
wish everybody good luck and a good school year.
Great. Okay, our next regular meeting of the school committee is scheduled for Monday, September 14th, and then we resume at 6 p.m. Right here in this location. And if there are no other discussion items, can I get a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Noon, second by Ms. Amaral. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned.